Garg, what is with you today? You seem happier than usual.
Aye, your smile sends shivers down my spine. Stop it and explain yourself.
Was it another successful raid against the Federation? Or the Romulans?
Eh? Oh, not at all. I am merely enjoying the benefits of being the kind and helpful person that I am.
What? Who are you and what have you done with Garth?
Korath, I think he's being serious.
I'm still waiting for the punchline. Surely you're pulling our Ushdu, Garg.
What? You doubt my words? I am Sadrul. Do not insult my honor.
No insult intended.
But you have to admit that you do not seem like yourself.
Are you sure you're not an Undine infiltrator?
Loresinger, Meth Shadowstorm, has recorded the story for prosperity. However, I will share the story with you all, and you can judge it for yourself. It's called Safari So Good.
Well, I'm going to need another drink. Barkeep, chum, we need more blood wine here.
Yes, more indeed.
Drink up, boys, for this tale will increase your appetites. In fact, we should order some more Ticknog hooves for the tables. On me.
Tanakh hooves? You got it, Garth. Now I know you're not Garth. He never pays for blood wine, let alone Tanakh hooves.
Korath, my friend, listen to my story first. It will all become clear.
I will humor you this time, but know this. If you move against us, I won't hesitate to plunge this dagger into your throat.
I was flying to Eta Eridani on my way to Karat when I received a distress call from one of our freighters in the nearby Bakula system. I ordered the helm to investigate. We dropped out of wart in orbit of a planet and found the IKS Sosne. Captain Kurzak invited us to beam aboard. The ship was empty except for its captain and one very upset communications officer.
Where was the rest of the crew?
Were they attacked?
As it turned out, they had beamed down to the planet to hunt for fresh water and meat for the kitchen. They were overdue, and all attempts to contact them had gone unanswered.
That does not sound good.
Kurzak asked me, and we agreed to investigate.
Ha! More evidence that you are not Garth.
You did not let me finish. I agreed after he promised to fill our holes with cargo.
What did you find?
What I found was far worse than anything you can imagine. Something that would test the fortitude of any warrior of the Empire.
Look, what was this great test?
The universe, in its infinite humor, caused the Sosnet team to beam down right into the middle of a traveling Orion Brothel.
Priceless. Simply priceless.
By Kalis!
I should have known. It all makes sense now.
I did not know it at the time. However, you can imagine my surprise when I beamed down and was greeted by the sight of 30 nubile young Orion females dancing and writhing among the crew of the Sosne. The snap. The noises, the smells, and the sight of them fully engaged in their craft. It was a beautiful thing. A single warrior, a lieutenant named Kurik, was the only member of the crew that wasn't enjoying their hospitality.
Surely the others succumbed to the Orion's pheromones. They proved to be quite a distraction, which also explains your attraction to them, I would think.
One would think so, but is not true. I lack the glands required due to an injury I sustained back when I was at the academy.
The incident in the headmaster's chambers with the herd of Targs?
It was.
If you are immune to their pheromones, then why are you so fascinated with the Orion females?
It does seem that you always have a pair of Orions with you.
I find them lively and willing companions that respond well to a firm hand. Do you mind if I finish my story now? So there I was, standing amid a full-blown green Nookie convention, while Lieutenant Kurek tried desperately to regain control of his men. I approached him and volunteered to give him a hand. He had the moke to bark at me as if I was a first-year Beck at the academy.
A lieutenant? Barking orders at a lieutenant general? Yabdod's chilpu'a.
He must have been. I should have killed him on the spot for his insubordination. But with all the Orion's beauties watching, I opted to chew him out instead. I believe I even made a reference to his mother's occupation prior to his birth.
Surely that got him back in line.
I wish. He just stood there, dumbstruck like a tarred pup in heat, while the Orions gyrated to the music and served tankard after tankard of blood wine to the rest of his crew.
Do you really expect us to believe that you didn't join the festivities?
I do love a good party, especially one with gyrating women offering plenty to drink, but duty comes first.
Ha! Unlikely. You just wanted whatever was in the freighter's cargo holds more than you wanted your ridges polished.
You know me well, Cora. That's when I spotted the Orion madam. After making my way through the swaying hips and empty bottles, I had a few words with her. Misa Dessa was a truly charming woman that led the band on their mission to bring food, wine, and companionship to the quadrant. They had detected the warriors on this planet when they decided to offer their services and try to earn a little profit in the process.
Orions are as devious as Ferengi when it comes to profit.
Jacoach bet since Karak could not get his men to fall in line, I decided to do it for him.
Chite, how? What did you do?
What else could I do? I started turning over tables and kicked in some teeth. I was, after all, the highest-ranking officer on the planet. They figured it out quickly, I have to admit. I've never seen so much green flesh moving so fast.
Marge, good. I imagine that got some attention.
All I had to do was wound some of the biggest whiners, and the rest quickly fell in line. I sent them all back to Kurek to await further orders. I returned to Mrs. Dessa, and she told me that one of her best earners was down by the lake, and that more of Kurek's men were there. I thanked her and left to rouse the rest of the crew.
Another camp of Orion harlots? I've never known them to travel in such large groups. Your story is beginning to sound a little thin again, Gark.
Misa Dessa's Orion Relaxation, Generosity, Alcohol, and Sex Menagerie is quite an operation. They got a couple dozen women and a small army of thugs on the payroll. I gave them your subspace frequency, Cora, if they ever require assistance with their Imperial tax reports.
Like I'm not busy enough trying to keep you out of Rura Pente for tax evasion.
Anyways, back to the naked Orions. I found Misa Lan and a picturesque scene that nearly stopped all 8 valves of my heart down by the lakeside. They were in the water, splashing and playing with Kurek's men.
Let me guess. You convinced them to do their duty, right?
I started overturning beach umbrellas and bashing heads. When they realized that they were facing a formidable warrior with a warship in orbit, they fell quickly in line. Displeased, they returned to Kurek, and I was left alone with all that beautiful green gyrating flesh.
Knowing your appetites and preferences for Orions, I'm amazed you didn't succumb to their charms.
Kalis knows it wasn't easy, but my injury kept my head clear when other warriors were falling over themselves to get closer to these women.
Scaring away their customers like that? I'm sure you weren't making any new friends quickly.
That's for certain, but we do not serve the Empire to make friends. I found the last group of Kurek's men across the lake with Misa Lin. She was the slave trainer and master. She had scantily clad slaves from a myriad of races in cages.
Cages? I hope there were not any Klingons in those cages.
The Orions would never dare imprison Klingons as slaves.
Misa Lin was adamant that no citizens of the Empire were among her product, as she called them. I was a bit shocked by the look of them, but Misa Lin assured me that these slaves were better off in her care than on their own home world.
I fail to see how a slave is better than a free citizen.
Honestly, I do as well. She explained that the education and skills they learned would make them live comfortably as servants in any house in the Empire. It's a far better life than the one of poverty and starvation they would have otherwise had.
An interesting adventure, but hardly reason for your good mood. Did you perhaps purchase a servant for yourself?
By Kalis, no. Sadrul does not pay for his women.
Or his blood wine?
I felt bad for chasing away their customers, so I invited Misa Dessa back to my ship for a private session of intense negotiations.
Only you, Garg, would have such misfortune.
What was the cargo?
Cargo? Oh, that's right. I filled my holds with a selection of fine beverages and spirits. I just sold the entire load to the barkeep for a fraction of its value, and still made more than enough to turn a tiny profit after the expenses.
I hope you kept your receipt.
Who do you think I am? Of course I didn't.
Garg.